Raster versus vector images. This logo here is a raster image, and this logo here is a vector image. This is basically what a raster image is. It's pixels, and a pixel is a square of color. So from here to here, going from white to black, this is a gradient of 20 squares of color. We could say they're 20 oversized pixels. This gradient here is the one below it is exactly the same as this, only it's got 999 little changes of color to get from white to black. So it looks perfectly smooth, but it's still a raster image. It's still made up of pixels. So this would be a high quality raster image, and this is a low quality raster image, but they're still both raster images. Just like this logo here. And a vector image, no matter how much you zoom in, it never pixelates. So if you're doing something like laser engraving or CNC routing or something like that, a vector image is miles better because the machine knows exactly where the edge is. So what I mean by that is, if we have a look at the raster image, when you zoom in, it's actually really hard to know exactly where the edge is. You could almost say that there is no color, or that I can see, from about there down to there and down there, but that's not where it's black. So is it perhaps, is the edge of the image there? Is that maybe where the edge is? It gets really hard to know. Versus back to the vector image, it's crystal clear exactly where the edge is. And if we click on it, we can actually see that it's made up of a line that is controlling the edge. So super easy to work with. We can also easily manipulate it. So if let's say it's a laser engraver we're sending the image to, the color can be changed to something that the machine can read. So the lasers we use, for example, if we allocate RGB black, so R0, G0 and B0, then it tells the laser to use certain settings, but we could change it to blue and it will use different settings. So we have a lot more control over the image. Versus a raster image, we can't easily control it. So we can also manipulate the image, do things like make a reverse of the image if that's going to suit the project better. So in this case we could select it and trim it from this square, and suddenly we've got a negative of the image. Just to prove that it's not white over black, if we hold it over something else, we can see through the white to the image behind it. So it's actually totally cut out from the image. So they're easy to manipulate a vector image like that. Now, how do you know for sure that you've got a raster or a vector image? There's two main clues. First one is what file type you've got. So if it's any of these, if it's a JPEG or PNG or bitmap file, then you know it's a raster image. If it's a PDF, EPS or SVG file, then it's probably or could be a vector image. The thing about like PDF and EPS files, they can actually hold a raster image in it as well. So this file that we're looking at right here, we could actually just save this as a PDF, which means it would hold a raster and a vector image within the PDF. So the next clue is just simply zoom in on it. If you can zoom in and see it distorting a bit, then you know it's a raster image. If you zoom in and it always looks crisp and it's not pixelating, then you know you've got a vector image. Right now we are 240,000% zoomed in. We haven't got a pixel. So it will never pixelate. And that's it. So that's raster versus vector.